Not quite as dramatic as the last person. I dream about NPR. A couple years ago, I'm just starting with this one, but a couple years ago, the dream went like this. Hello, this is Paul Brown. You're listening to NPR. A member of Mr. Rogers' entourage has shot a member of P. Diddy's entourage. A source familiar with the situation says that he was not happy with his new neighbor. That has nothing to do with the rest of what I'm going to tell you, but it just needed to be told. And that was the whole dream. I just wake up in the morning like, what is wrong with me? So I love that dream. So we'll go back to another dream with a little backstory. And so when you're about as tall as I am and you're in middle school, people don't say, hey, how you doing? You know, how's it going lately? All they say is, hey, do you play basketball? Hey, do you play basketball? They don't say, did you get enough to eat? Oh, do you want to play basketball? No, I just want some more potatoes. So that's all you ever hear. And I didn't want to. I didn't like the guy energy of it all. I know. I didn't have these ways of thinking about it at the time, but when I go back and remember, kind of overlay current understanding all the names, and I'm like, I just wasn't comfortable with the whole gender, programming of it all. Like, just, I get like my sex is male, but does that mean that I have to do this whole role acting as the gender? And I didn't like it. But my parents encouraged me. I needed an extracurricular activity, so my parents encouraged me to play basketball on the church team. It wasn't even high school, so this is church. I didn't have any skills in basketball, but I was tall, so that's what it looks like. Too. And there was so anyway, I didn't want to play basketball this particular year because I didn't like the coach. The coach was he was a real guy. He was the kind of guy that would encourage you to do better on the court by implicitly, you need to do better at being a man, being a guy. Just didn't like all those feelings. No, I didn't think of it in those terms at the time, but I just didn't have the vocabulary. But I learned to kind of enjoy it a little bit. There was one thing that I did do is that the hustle, not the dance. Not the dance, but oh, good hustle. That's what you say about the guys that have no coordination, but they just run. Yeah, thank you. I had good hustle, so that was all I had, and I kind of enjoyed myself. And until the end of the practice, when the coach would take us back in this little side room. It wasn't enough to talk in the corner of the gym, but he would take us back and he had to sit us down, and he would tell us what we've been doing well and what we didn't do so well. And this is the time where you're supposed to, we're going to be guys, so you're supposed to do things like this, like. And I hated that stuff. I really hated that stuff. So I would just kind of suffer through that 5 minutes of it all, and just like, I just want to get out of here, I just want to go home. We're not playing basketball anymore. He would say, things like, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of good, and still need to work on your. And it just, this memory kind of crystallized in my brain, and it just is an uncomfortable social situation I didn't want to be in, and so after the season ended. Oh, by the way, the season ended. I remember the last basketball game of the season. My parents weren't able to be there, so I came back home later and they said, "Hey, how'd it go?" I said, "Oh, it was great. It was really fun." It's like, "Did you win?" I had no recollection. I honestly, I just driven home from the game. I did not know if we won or not. I just didn't care. So I was obviously not learning to, think about these things as I should have. But I had this reoccurring dream after the season ended, and over the next 6 months or so, I would dream. The whole dream would just be sitting there. And Coach, well, I'm seeing a lot of you still need to work on the And after I had this dream a few times, I thought, I'm going to see if I can become aware of the dream while I'm in the dream. I'm going to thwart the dream, And the next time I had the dream ended with me had a little moment of recognition of, I think this is that dream, and then the dream ended. And I woke up the next morning, I was like, that was pretty cool. So kind of unsatisfying, but But then the next time I had the dream, I was able to pull my head up and go, and kind of look around the room, and these are dream people. I'm in a dream. And I kept having the dream, but I would be a little bit more aware and a little bit more able to shape, to interact with the world, and just realize that this was not a dream. I'm not really trapped, but it was. But it was still. I still had that feeling, Still like I have this feeling, but it's not really a dream. This is weird. And eventually, I got to the point where I stood up, and the dream ended, and that felt really good. And I kept, pushing it a little bit further, and then eventually, I got to the point, and I don't know if this was exactly planned out, but I think the idea was I just need to do something something that the last thing in the world you could do in a situation like that. What would that be, And so what I ended up doing was I not only stood up, and then I walked up to another chair, and I stood on the chair, and I started dancing. And it froze right there, and the dream ended, and I never had the dream again. And I learned that, there's things in your head, all these little rules, these things making you feel constrained, and you just play with it and have fun, and it'll all go away. And that was my dream.